I promise that the person that's meant for you isn't someone that you're going to have to prove your love to. Someone who doesn't see the value in you, I promise you that is not the person for you. I feel like when I look back on my life, I always thought that love was something that was supposed to be this hard and daunting task to get, at least from another person. Like, we're taught growing up that, you know, the true meaning of love is like going through hardships and sticking out the tough times and stuff like that, which to a certain degree it can be. I'm not saying that it's not, but I feel like we've adopted a mindset where we overlook that at the end of the day, we should be happy in our relationships. We should be happy in the pursuit of achieving a relationship. The thing that made me make this, or the situation that brought this video topic about, was a friend of mine, a younger friend of mine. He is currently going through what I feel like is something that we all go through as teenagers, where we start to express interest in girls. And, you know, he's like overanalyzing everything about the situation, where he is wondering if he's saying the right things, if he's doing the right things, what does she mean by that, and stuff like this. He's just very in his head. My dog is going crazy right now. He's very in his head about everything when it comes to this situation. And the biggest thing that I could take away from everything that he is relaying to me and our other friends is that he is feeling as though that he is not worthy of this person. Just from the things that he's saying, it's almost as if he's placing he's placing this girl on a pedestal. And I relate to that so much because I used to do the same thing, where I felt as though that I wasn't good enough for a relationship of a certain type of person, whether that be beauty, or mainly it's beauty, because I feel like we use beauty as a benchmark to what we deserve out of a partner. But really, when you start to go through a lot of relationships, you see how the main thing is just, is this person treating me right? You know, obviously attraction does play a part, but more times than not, it should be, is this person treating me right? So I'm making this video for people like that, or even my past self, hell, even my future self, because I still think that this is something that I'm working on, where you're already enough. Now, obviously we have stuff that we need to work on, but by and large, if you feel like you're having to go outside of yourself or put on a persona to be or to attain a certain type of love from someone, I promise you that's not the person for you. More times than not, the love that we have to manipulate and shape ourselves into being inauthentic, it's like, why would you even want to be in a relationship like that in the first place? When I look back on the relationships that I've been in the past, they all stems from deep-rooted insecurities, where I was extremely jealous of men being around my woman. I was extremely jealous of my woman getting a certain level in her career and stuff like that. And I'm seeing now that it was all just stemmed from deep-rooted insecurities. And I think more times than not, we don't address those things, or we overlook them. And it's only when we get into a relationship where we see how bad the insecurity is. Honestly, at the point where it's too late, because you're already in said relationship. And we're kind of trained to accept people for their flaws and all. But sometimes, bro, if I'm being brutally honest, like, those flaws need to be worked on to a certain degree before you get into a relationship. I'm watching Love is Blind right now, and that whole show, bro, man, I always tell people that I feel like that show is an evil show, because I feel like they prey on insecure and desperate people who are so desperate for love, a connection, marriage. Because it's like, bro, one, love is not blind. I don't care how you slice it. So many people think that you're shallow for wanting an attractive partner. You're not. Attraction is natural. You want to be attracted to your partner. It just is what it is. We can't keep giving a pass to people being subpar in their looks. Like, you know? No, Kane. No. But yeah, so in this show, I'm just seeing so many, mainly it's the men. I feel like men are so like, oh, I don't, you know, I gotta make her happy. I gotta do, and this isn't I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to make like red pill content or anything like that. But no, Kane. No, 1 second. Like these guys are on this show and all they're thinking about is, oh my God, this girl's so beautiful. This girl's so this, she's so that. I can't mess this up. It's like, who wants to be in a relationship where you're that on edge? Who wants to be in a relationship where you are feeling as though that like you don't want to say the wrong thing, you don't want to upset this person, you're walking on eggshells? That's essentially what this whole show, like most of the interactions with the couples on the show is rooted in that. It's rooted in people not knowing themselves, not trusting that, you know, I am enough, because they haven't addressed the problems intrinsically within themselves. It's a very sad case because I understand where that comes from, because I used to be like that, where I didn't want to be honest with the things I was insecure about because it was embarrassing. I felt like, man, if I address this, I'm gonna look like a bitch. I'm gonna look like somebody like, man, whatever. But you're not. Like, really and truly, it's natural to have insecurities, but it's not healthy to be governed by your insecurities, you know what I mean? So, but to bring it back home, just to help you better understand, you need to know your worth. You need to trust that where you're at in your life is good enough, and there's always going to be room for improvement. But if somebody's making you feel as though that you have to step outside of yourself in order to receive their love, get rid of them. And that's not even just for relationships. I started off talking about relationships because I feel like that is something that we all can relate to. And that's just what I've been seeing constantly, whether it be on TV or with my friends, but it could be in friendships too. I feel like in the past, there were friendships that I was a part of where I felt like, you know, I didn't want to be labeled as the bad friend. So in doing so, I had to abandon my feelings to help this person feel better. But it's like I'm left feeling empty because like I felt like I wasn't getting poured into. You know, you always want to be in relationships where you feel like the love that you give is reciprocated. You never want to feel like, come, Kane, sit. You never want to feel like you are not getting the same thing. You're not getting out what you're putting in, you know? I think as a society, we're conditioned to believe that love is transactional. It's not. It shouldn't be transactional. You shouldn't have to give love to receive love, if that makes sense. You want to, how can I better put this? Because this is something that I was trying to help my friend understand, where subconsciously he felt as though that like he had to do more to receive more. But in actuality, I think the biggest thing, what's wrong? Sit. I think the biggest thing when it comes to just receiving love or getting love from a certain person, that person has to exude love. They have to love themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't just be, I'm giving, and I'm not getting nothing back. That ain't love. That's manipulation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel like I'm going all over the place, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, bro, or gal, if you're watching this video, understand that you are enough. You don't have to settle. I promise you, there is going to be someone who can match your energy, who can match the love that you give. I felt for so long that, man, the love that I give is so much, it's so immense that to find somebody like that, it would be impossible. But it's not. It takes time, because that's what happens when you start to like gain self-respect and start loving yourself better. You start to distance and remove yourself from people who just don't vibrate at that same frequency. And the thing about that is that it can be very lonely, because not a lot of people are vibrating at the frequency of, sit, Paul, good boy. Not a lot of people are vibrating from the frequency of love. A lot of people don't love themselves, so the love that they are giving you isn't even rooted in love. It's rooted in manipulation. My dog is going crazy. But yeah, man, it can be lonely at times, but I promise you, you'd much rather be alone than to be with somebody who doesn't see your value. Oh, that's a bar. You would much rather be alone than to be with somebody who does not see your value. You don't want to be in spaces where you feel like you're invisible, bro. Relationships, friendships, jobs, if they do not recognize your value, you need to get out of there. 100%, bro. Like, there were so many times in my life where I stayed in situations that I should have left. I should have left. Sit. So many situations where I felt like I should have come, Kane. I stayed way longer than I should have. You don't want to overstay your welcome in places where you're not valued, bro. At all. You always want to stay. You only want to stay in situations where you feel like you are celebrated and not tolerated. When I look back on my life, there was a lot of people who tolerated me, but they didn't celebrate me. And I feel like now I removed all those people, and it is lonely. I will say that it is lonely, but I am happier. I'm a lot more at peace with it, because I understand that, man, being around those people just kind of weigh you down. It brings you down. Like, you do not want to be, you don't want to be in spaces where people are, they're like, they don't really like care whether you're there or not. Like, that's not fun. Come, Kane. Come. It's not fun to be in places like that. You only want to be in places where people are like, oh shit. Like, they're excited to see you. They're excited to be around you. And that goes for friendships, relationships, everything that I said before. Like, you are worth being seen and heard. Holy shit. Like, you are worth that. Like, if somebody is not seeing that, you know what, this person, like, I really like their energy. I like how they make me feel. If they're not saying or showing that, snip it, dead it. Embrace the solitude, because I promise you, somebody who sees everything that you're worth will come, and then you'll be like, man, so this is what it actually feels like. I remember when I actually got the love that when I got the love that I actually deserved in a moment where I was really insecure, it was like, I didn't even know how to like respond to it. I was just like, what is this? But I'm looking back on it now, it's like there's a reason why that situation didn't last, because I didn't believe that I deserved that kind of love because I wasn't even giving that type of love to myself. I feel like now I'm definitely exuding that. So when I do get that type of love again, it's like, oh, well, yeah, of course. You know, I'm exuding that type of love. But when you're not giving yourself that type of love, it's like, oh, what is this? It's almost weird. Like, it's almost weird when you're seeing like people loving on you a certain type of way, because you're like, oh, like, but that should be the bar. That should be the bar. It shouldn't be this lackluster, mediocre, like, oh, whatever, I'll give you here. So I'll sprinkle some. No, bro. It shouldn't be that. It can't be that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I had to get that off my chest. I feel like this video is at a good spot. This is a good stopping point. If you made this far in the video, I want to say thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. I am going to be more consistent on this channel because I have to. I have to. I would be doing you all a disservice if I'm not giving myself or giving you all the content that I know that you deserve. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I come with the next video. Until next time, peace.